We have with us this morning political analyst Steve Adubato. It was definitely different than the Democratic convention. In fact, they hit hard on socialists last night, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's always good to be with you, even if it's remote, Rosanna. I will tell you this. That's the word of the 2020 election, socialism. The Democrats are socialists. They're radical far left. They're against you holding on to your guns. They hate America. Joe Biden is dangerous. Other than being sleepy, as the president likes to say. It was a very powerful, it was a very dark message last night. There was a lot of energy, I will say that. But I will also question this. The base was fired up, no doubt, Rosanna. The Trump base was all pumped up. They loved it. The fact that there was some in-person activity with the president was big. He is the executive producer and the star of this convention. The whole question is this. Will the Republicans, through this convention and moving beyond, get some of the suburban folks who haven't decided yet, the independents, to be with them? That's going to decide this election, no doubt.
And also, Steve, they definitely are going after the black voters, voters of color in this country. A lot of very powerful speakers last night.
I thought Senator Tim Scott was powerful. It's the right word. It's the word I wrote down when I was watching him last night. But here's the question. Even if you put out there very strong African American Republicans or Dems who are for Trump, will the majority, the vast majority of people who are African American, Latinos, and other minorities, will they believe that the Trump policies are favorable to them? The president will talk about more jobs created than ever before, better than ever before for African American and Latinos. But with the racial issues going on, with the racial tension, with the violence, if you will, involving police and black men disproportionately, the president's going to have to talk about that at some point in time. It's like they're saying the Democrats are anti-cops, anti-American. Well, there's also a gray area here. How do we have police reform but still respect police, still respect the rule of law, which we have to? You can't have anarchy in the streets. But the president's going to have to find that balance, if you will, and show a degree of empathy for blacks and Latinos who feel somewhat disenfranchised, if you will.
Now, what did you think of this video they put together where they used Democratic politicians praising the president? In fact, we have a little clip. Let's listen to it first.
He said everything that I could have hoped for. Promise made, promise kept.
He is ready, willing, and able to help.
He has been responsive. He's done a lot of good things.
What the federal government did was a phenomenal accomplishment.
In our hour of need, you all literally are helping us in a big way. We were at the edge, and this is life or death stuff, and we're forever thankful for that.
Soon. What'd you think? I'm sure Governor Cuomo and Governor Murphy were cringing watching this last night.
You know, I mean, first of all, it's fascinating how you can produce these things. And that's not trick editing or fake media. That's real. Governor Murphy and Governor Cuomo, particularly at the height of this pandemic, they were praising the federal government, which in many ways means the president, largely because they were looking for help. That's their job. Chris Christie did that with Barack Obama, but he didn't vote for him. He didn't support him. But the fact is, now what is Cuomo going to do? Say, I didn't mean that? Murphy's going to say, I didn't mean that? Of course they meant it. But now they're going to have to try to undo that by saying, yes, he did that, but he hasn't done this, and this. And I will also say this on the pandemic, which that was largely about. The president's going to have to address to some degree, and I don't think it's weakness for him to say we haven't been as strong, we didn't react as quickly as we should have early on. That doesn't make him a weak candidate. It makes him somebody who realizes that as a leader, he's made some mistakes. But that's not the president's personality. He doesn't admit mistakes. He says he does it all right and nothing would happen otherwise if it weren't for him. He's got to show a little humility, in my view, which would not hurt, because Biden does come off as a more sympathetic figure.
Lots of family part of the convention. Donald Trump Jr., his girlfriend Kimberly Guilfoyle. They seemed to get Twitter all aflutter last night.
You know, the family, it's so interesting, Rosanna. The Biden family talked about Biden as a father, Joe Biden, Dr. Joe Biden, as a husband, what a great, compassionate, caring person. Donald Trump Jr. is like the president, Donald Trump. He never really said my dad, if I'm not mistaken. They're saying, look, forget about this father stuff, you know, whether he's the husband thing. Forget about that. He's strong. He may not always be politically correct or say things the right way, and he can be very mean when he wants to. But the fact is, they're saying he gets the job done. Who cares that there's some roadkill in the process? It's fascinating to see how the families talk about the respective candidates. Joe Biden on one end, very caring, loving, been through a lot, all true, very compassionate, empathetic. President, just steamroller, we'll get things done. It's a question of what's going to sell.
And more family tonight. Melania Trump, Eric Trump will be speaking.
Yeah, Eric Trump, and more than anything, I'm fascinated to hear Melania Trump, because here's what's going to happen. You remember last time, right, Rosanna? Melania stole Michelle Biden's. I think Melania, and I hope she gives a speech that's more about him as a person, more about him as a husband, the kind of compassion he has as a human being, because that part, I'm repeating myself, has to be shown. She's not the kind of speaker that's going to come out and talk about public policy per se. It's got to be just a bit more empathetic and human, and I hope that for the Republicans and for the president that she can do that.
All right. Well, Steve Adubato, thank you so much for breaking down the first night of the Republican convention for us. We appreciate it.
Always good to be with you, Rosanna.
All right. Have a good day.